Nearly 112 years ago, one man, Roald Amundsen, made it to the South Pole. And now, in 2023, I and my good friend Star
Hey there!
are about to set foot on a massive expedition in his footsteps to the geographic South Pole. Today on WallE Talks. For those of you who don't know, Roald Amundsen was a Norwegian explorer, best known for being a part of the first group to successfully reach the geographic South Pole. At the same time as that expedition, Robert Falcon Scott, a British explorer, attempted to reach the South Pole as well. However, it didn't exactly go according to plan, as his group became the second group to reach the South Pole. However, we'll get into what happened to them later. Anyway, with all that exposition out of the way on why we are going to do this today, let's actually start the expedition anyway. Hey Star, how you feeling about all this?
This is gonna be a fun expedition.
Alright, that's good to hear. I can't wait to ride in a nice comfy snowcat while we make our way all the way to the South Pole over the next few days.
Well then, I cannot wait to... Wait, a snowcat?
Yeah, snowcat. You see that vehicle over there with the big treads? That's a snowcat.
I thought we were going by plane.
Okay, yeah, originally I was going to have us ride there by plane. However, I figured we travel in something like that, taking all the scenery around us as we make our way there.
That's not what you told me, what the hell?
Okay, calm down. I may or may not have changed the plans as we were on our way here. And yeah, I'll admit, my bad.
Hey. Oye, niño. Vamos. We're going home. I'm not gonna deal with this kind of crap.
What the? Well, screw you then. I could go there by myself, I guess. What am I doing with my life? Okay, multiple things. Out of this special and the last one from last year, I have never done one of these on my own, basically. So yeah, I guess I'll have to treat this like a usual episode of the show. Just take off the presents title on the episode. Great, this is gonna be fun. Alright, let's stop stalling. Let's just start this stupid ice trip, I guess. Alright, and for those of you who are wondering why I still have my old YouTube avatar on instead of my current one, I just like to use this one better in episodes like these, so yeah, back off. Alright, without further ado, let's properly start this episode by talking about our main guy, Roald Amundsen. I briefly touched upon him earlier in the episode, but now let's talk about him a little more, and the expedition to the South Pole. Again, Roald Amundsen was a Norwegian explorer. He is most known for exploring the polar regions of our beautiful planet. Originally, before going on the expedition to the South Pole, he had plans for an expedition to the North Pole. However, after claims of others traveling to it first, he decided to set his eyes to the South Pole, because, unlike the North Pole, there hadn't been any claims that anyone had been there. Well, obviously, or else he wouldn't have gone there. Also, as I said earlier in this episode, his expedition had been rivaled by Robert Falcon Scott's Terra Nova expedition, which also wanted to reach the South Pole first. So, the race was on to reach the South Pole first. Yeah, it's a little cold, I'll admit. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, sorry about this. Hold on, let me get somewhere a bit warmer real quick. In preparation for his expedition, Amundsen would make his Antarctic base in the Bay of Whales on the Great Ice Barrier. This base was called Framheim. Yeah, it's a unique name, but it actually kind of sounds cool. So yeah, I like it. Eventually, after months of preparation, on October 19th, 1911, the gang would make their start on their massive expedition. Speaking of expedition, you know what? Just being in this tent, I already feel all rested up. So you know what? I'm gonna go back out driving a little bit more on that ice. Oh boy, this is such a good idea. Oh boy. You know, because the sun never sets here, I'm basically not going to experience any form of night on my way there. So, yeah, it's just going to be constant sun. So, even when I'm really tired, I guess that'll be a little better than just complete darkness. But yeah, look at all that. It's actually beautiful. Anyway, back to the story. As our hero and his group would slowly make their way to the South Pole, instead of walking on foot, they would use sleds pulled by dogs. This would actually be useful as, it would save time instead of just walking the whole way on foot. Unfortunately, however, these dogs would all perish, as far as I know. Mainly for food, unfortunately. It's a little messed up, I'll admit. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. At the same time as his expedition, another explorer, Robert Falcon Scott, who I mentioned earlier, had already started his Terra Nova expedition to reach the South Pole as well. His voyage to the South Pole would start on November 1st, 1911, hoping to reach the South Pole first before Roald Amundsen. Speaking of the South Pole, I really wish I got there right about now, but instead I'm here alone. God, I really should have taken a plane instead of just doing this. I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, the flat white landscape around me is quite beautiful, to be honest. However, one thing that I am desperately terrified about is the potential fact that this thing could fall into a crevice and kill me. Yeah, that does happen sometimes, unfortunately. So let's just hope that doesn't happen, because I really, really, really hope that I get there in one piece. But I really, really doubt that's going to happen, considering the path that I am driving on is the South Pole Traverse, which is literally just a ice-made road that leads to the South Pole. Now, it's just a general path, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Hopefully. Yeah, I really look forward to not dying. For many days and many nights, Roald Amundsen's party would travel through the harsh Antarctic plateau, until eventually, after reaching a staggering elevation of over 9,000 feet, they would eventually reach their destination. On December 14th, 1911, they would finally reach the geographic South Pole. And, thankfully, they would return home alive. Now, fun fact, they actually named their tent that they pitched up at the geographic South Pole, Polheim, which I think that's kind of cute. We had Framheim, and now we have Polheim. That's actually kind of cute. I like that. Meanwhile, what about the Terra Nova expedition? Well, unfortunately, that didn't see the same success as Amundsen's expedition to the South Pole. Unfortunately, despite reaching the South Pole as well, they would indeed end up coming in second place. And even worse, on the return journey back to their camp, all 5 party members would perish on the Antarctic plateau. the expedition to the South Pole on both fronts is of both failure and success. And both of those expeditions have been memorialized with the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, which is named after both explorers who reached the South Pole. The station itself would see 3 iterations, the first being constructed out of prefabricated buildings, which were eventually engulfed in many, many feet of snow, thanks to the Antarctic snowdrift. The second iteration at the station was an aluminum dome structure. This was hoping to remediate the issue of snowdrift. However, the dome would instead act as a windbreak, and snow would also pile right on top of it. And today, we have the elevated South Pole Station structure, which instead of the snow piling on top of it, it would fly right underneath the station, and if it were to pile up underneath, the station can literally be elevated multiple times to protect itself from the snowdrift. You know, speaking of the South Pole, why don't you guys take a look ahead? Well, after a very, very long and, dare I say, a bit of a boring video, I say that this was a pretty successful expedition, I will admit. Sure, I didn't really have anybody to talk to, but I finally get to talk about something just a bit more interesting on this channel. So, on that, I guess it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching this WallE Talk special, and we'll see you soon. I don't know when, I don't know where, but we'll see you very soon.